Wow, welcome everyone. Today I have a post-patch build update for the skeleton summoners or the infernalists with skeleton snipers. Oh boy, this particular update is making these skeleton snipers really powerful, and I'll show you guys a quick demonstration of the power of the build. Now do keep in mind, I'm still low level, and during the testings you can see the power of the build. And once my friend Dramkast gets online, we'll be looking into the stronger late game version. But you can already see, this build has some pretty hefty, interesting mechanics that I want to go through with you guys. So firstly, have a look at my skeleton snipers. They are resummoned, and as they shoot projectiles, well, I am blinking a lot. So it's probably easier if you look at over here. So notice there's a massive projectile, yes. There's so much projectiles, there's like so many arrows that is flying around, everything is dying directly. And yes, I can actively cast a poison cloud with the latest update of the gem. So let me show you guys over here. The latest update of the gem that is added is actually binding. I'm combining binding with fog for a lot more leverage and also the potential to get more projectiles. But you can have a variety of choice for more damage coming from feeding frenzy or immolate to hit even harder. This build is so flexible, it can go to 7 links, and you can see the arrows are flying across the screen. And basically, oh, there's my alarm to check the build. So basically what you can see is we're still summoning the summoning raging spirit, but we're no longer using the skeleton arsonists. Or at least I try to not use them because of the increased spirit reservation. For me, my arsonists went from 13 to 10. And notice over here, there's a bug with weapon swap. So here, what you can see is my skeletons has a weapon swap. This is a visual bug. I'll show you guys how many skeletons I can run in the game. It is the same. Oh my gosh, this is the count. It is same as my skeleton arsonist before the nerf. It is 13. So it's the same amount to before the nerf of the arsonist. But if I go with arsonist, I can only have 10 of them. So there is a difference. Now, the major factor you want to understand with the skeleton sniper is that they have the gas arrow. But what you can see with the gas arrow is you can detonate those arrows. Let me see if I can, I do this easier. So if I look at the command, the poison cloud is based on the attack damage that is over time. But if you detonate them with your fire skills, which you have a lot of fire skills and ignite, they will do a whopping 630% damage. And this can be combined for a massive one-shot with binding with 30% more damage. More damage is the best damage multiplier. It is a multiplicity multiplier for the build. And the new gem is pretty good. So let's keep looking. Now, I am doing a basic testing, and I don't recommend you guys to change into this build right away. But it is the same. You just get the gem, you socket it in, and that's what I did. I did not get a fancy gem. So I corrupted this one. It cost me like 1 to 2 exalt max. So for this particular gem, what's wrong? So for this particular gem, I corrupted it, and that's it. It is not even a high level gem. I think it is a level 15, level 14 gem. It's not even high level. I can get this to higher level. I was just happy to test this. I could easily get this gem to like 1 or 2 levels. Notice other gems are level 23, so this gem can match their level. So I just increased one socket and also valved it and tried a few times. It worked. Cost me about 2 exalt to make it work, and the build seems to be quite fast because of the new setup. And yes, if you're wondering how am I blinking and without the spirit reservation, check out the previous video. The build is good. And over here, what you can see is actually messed up, the buttons almost died. But I'm pretty much unkillable in the lower maps, and the projectiles from the skeleton snipers are really fast. They instant kills most of the enemies, and compared to the skeleton arsonists, which have a delay with the bombs, I'm actually liking the skeleton snipers. But of course, this build needs to be more tested and more work to be checked in the endgame with the boss and for single target. So at the moment, I don't recommend rushing into buying a 6th link for the skeleton sniper, but I do want to show you guys how powerful the build can be just with a few change of the skill links and also using a different skill. You are getting 30% more summons from 10 summons of arsonists to 13 summons, and you can see the projectiles, everything looks pretty good. Over here, I'll show you guys the active of the bomb. I am pressing the active of the bomb quite frequently, and I forgot to show you guys over here. So notice on my hotkey, you can see the activation of detonate. The cloud is instantly detonated onto the elite. And notice one detonation took about the 70% of elite's health. And this is before the elite got debuffed with curses and stuff. So I cast one detonation, it exploded instantly over here. That's what happened, and it went down to 70%. And I cast one more detonation, 2-shotted elite. Now, if I had higher skill ranks and also better links, this can definitely one-shot most of the elites. I wonder how much this will do for the bosses, and I'll be doing more testing for you guys. So, at the end of the video, I'll show you guys this whole replay. Now let's come over to my character and I'll show you guys the changes for the skeleton snipers. Now one thing I do want to add about the skeleton snipers is that higher quality would reduce their reservation, means you can summon more of them. While at the same time for the skeleton arsonists, higher quality would increase their fire damage scaling with the maximum HP, and this is a bigger difference. So this one you want more maximum HP for the scaling of skeleton arsonists, and over here you just get free summons just because you have less reservation as you get higher quality for those particular gems. Now because it is quite easy to change the skeleton arsonists and also skeleton snipers, because most of the setup is similar, what I'll do is if you come over to this particular builder's guide, I'll make another variant and also apply the weapon set together. So make sure you come over to the guide and you keep coming over to the next variant, because that will be duplicating this one, updating for this one, making it even better as we learn and also make better builds. So coming over to my setup, I am running the skeleton snipers over here, and I have taken out of my skeleton arsonists. So you can see my skeleton snipers is not the highest level, and it can definitely be much higher level because I have +8 from my items. So this one's only level 14. This is a level 15. So there's always a damage difference when I upgrade this. This is linked to scatter shot together with heft, which will greatly increase your damage if you've seen our previous video, because all your damage scales with physical damage, and this increases maximum physical damage, double dipping for all the good stuff. Now we're using the latest gem, which allows you to do 30% more damage when you use Poison Cloud. And the Poison Cloud the snipers do, when comboed with Ignite, this will deal additional fire damage, 600% fire damage, which can one-shot most of the elites and even bosses. Over here, I decided to go with Fog, which allows us projectile to fork around. And what that means, this will split the first time they hit enemies, and this will give you a bunch of projectiles for faster mapping. Should you want to go for the boss, you can go with Feeding Frenzy, and also finally with Immolate for the last 2 sockets, taking out Fog against the boss. And this build is flexible for both mapping and also boss slaying, which is pretty good, right? Now in terms of the rest of the sockets, I'm not going with Malice because I actually have this reservation for clarity. You can put the clarity in if you have 10 reservation with Malice. And I'll show you guys my items as well. For the Summoning Hellhound, I'm going with Fire Explosion, Minion Mastery, Meat Shield, and also Strip Away, which enhances my Fire Explosion. Raging Spirit is a supporting one, but it also does a bit of damage. I have Fire Infusion, Calling Strike, Martial Tempo, and also Discombobulate. I will be updating a stronger supporting Raging Fire Spirit very soon, and we have been crafting on this. For Pain Offerings, I really cast this one now because everything dies. I have Persistence, Macabre over here, and also Application. For Burn Offerings, we have 3 fonts with Font of Blood, Font of Mana, Font of Rage. Firewall is same as before, and I am planning to look into a stronger Firewall as well, with Mobility, Fortress, and also Arcane Tempo. Now you can notice, I am running Besame because I'm lazy. I don't want to get killed, and I want the auto curse that is reducing enemies' damage. So I'm running Besame with Enfeeble, and this allows me to extend with Expanse and also extend radius with Magnify effect. If I were to take this away, I'll show you guys how many I can run. I can run 2 more, but 2 more won't change much, but reducing enemies' damage might be helpful. Now Flammability, I have corrupted this one for 4 sockets. We have a video to teach you how to corrupt those. It costs 1 to 2 Exalt to get 4 sockets or 5 links, very very cheap. I'm going with Titan Curse, Inspiration, Curse Ground, and also Hex Boom, which is a really good combo to instantly cast your curses, especially when you follow my previous video about Weapon Swap. Notice I have Weapon Swap. You got to watch the previous video, guys. Weapon Swap is amazing. I can blink, automatic Weapon Swap. You got to check that video out. It is amazingly good for free blink, a lot of free skill points, lots of AoE. I'm not going with Skeleton Warriors, I'm just testing with those. And finally, for Blink, I have Ingenuity and also Second Wind for double Blink. And even my secondary weapons have lower cooldowns for more Blink. I'll show off again. Do. And automatically it changes weapons when I cast different spells, and that is the biggest part. So when I cast Cursor, it changes weapons, which now I can be Blink, and then I change with my Firewall, it changes weapons. You really should watch the last video. Okay, in terms of my passive tree, Nothing has changed, but I recommend having a look at the passive tree now has double extensions with usage of all 24 weapon set points. Now, if you're not in a rush, wait for me to perfect the weapon set points because I have been discussing of getting more summons, like more rituals, and also adjusting for some of the curse nodes because we might be over cursing enemies. So you can see my sockets over here and also my passives over here. Nothing too fancy. I am going with additional mana on kill whenever I can get those. Now in terms of my items, I have upgraded my items a little bit. I am planning to make a video to show you guys because I have capped with all resistance to 75, even 76 over here. So I briefly hover over my weapons. I'm using the Malice Scepter with more minion skills and also more increase in spirit. The helmet is having +2 minion skills, and here the chest with 50 spirit. Amulet with +2 minion skills. The defensive shield actually have +2 maximum chaos resistance. This is how I get to 76. The reins have tons of maximum life, maximum mana, and also resistance. The boots over here is a lot luckier because I actually corrupted into additional cold resistance with 30% movement speed, very important. I have taken out of the unique build in favor of additional stats because I was actually short on stats and also resistance to cap everything. Finally, this is the essential gloves. And these gloves will allow you to gain mana when you kill enemies. I'm sure you guys know this. I'm socketing a lot of those gems, and these gems in return allows me to have infinite mana gain and also super sustain with mind over matter. Now, if you like this particular setup, I will be updating this setup for both the early level 60, 70, 80. As you go through the map, it is powerful and it's really fun to go with skeleton snipers. And they shoot very fast projectiles and lots of projectiles. And I will also be showcasing the endgame version of the build when my friend Dramkast gets the time to test this out for us. And we're a little broke. We need to find a way to get him a 6 link with the skeleton snipers too. I think it's quite powerful. Now the only downside for this build is, again, you cannot cast Poison Cloud actively if you don't have any skeleton snipers. So if you blink too far in, your minions will disappear, then you can't cast Poison Cloud. You just have to be aware of this. You can see I made several mistakes over here, sometimes because of that. And that is the only downside. If you have no snipers, well, you're not casting Poison Cloud. So if you're blinking too fast, I'm planning to fix the AI in a future video. I'm still testing that to try to get the minions to resummon to you much, much faster. And yes, I'm loving the blink at the moment. Now, before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on our official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is going to be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.